Hello, welcome to our video review discussion of Marvel Powers United. This is a Oculus exclusive which released on the 26th of July in 2018 and was developed by Sanzaru Games. This is a very controversial game because it was in development for a while. People were really hyped for it, excited for it, and then it came out and it turned out it was basically kind of a wave shooter. So it got slated a lot, and a lot of people were not happy with it. So I didn't buy it. I don't think any of us bought it on release, and then luckily Roots ended up picking it up on a sale, and we've all had a chance to try it out. So we've decided to review it. So let's start off by just going over what this game actually is. Wes, how would you describe this game?
This very simply is an arcade style wave shooter. It's about as perfect an example of an arcade style wave shooter there is. You can take in your mind generic version of arcade style wave shooter, pull a Marvel skin over it, and that's what you've got here.
Yeah, that pretty much sums it up, definitely. I mean, it's very arcade wave shootery with Marvel superhero powers. So you've got lots of different superheroes. We'll go over some of those shortly during the gameplay segment, but let's start with the graphics because obviously I think this is probably the strongest point of the game. It's visually very nice, very nice. It's obviously full inverse kinematics. So when you're looking, you can see your own body, you can see your own arms. Obviously, which I think is very important when you want to be a superhero. You want to be able to see what you look like. So, and they really do a good job with the skins and everything. Looking at Spider-Man's arms and Rocket Raccoon's arms, it looks great. The environments are also nice as well. I thought that they looked good. They were diverse. Yeah, it's definitely not shabby in the visuals department. Roots, do you agree?
Oh yeah, I thought, like you said, it was the best part of it. I thought the bodies looked really cool, and like you said, even just from when you're looking at your own arms, and they really got it to where it looks real. Like it's very done very well. And I don't know about you. I mean, I wasn't impressed with the way Wolverine fought, but pulling his claws in and out, that looked so I still do it. It looks so cool, and then the sound, and it's really cool. I think I spent like 5 minutes literally opening and closing and swiping it around and stuff. I think they did a really good job on it, and obviously everything that Oculus backs, they put a lot of money and time into, so it ends up looking really good.
Yeah. Wes, have you got anything to add on that visually?
No, I just completely agree. This game is absolutely beautiful. This game is a sorry. This game is a 55 gigabyte download, and when you get in it, it's immediately obvious where that 55 gigabytes is at. It's all in the graphics. It's arena based game. There aren't any big sprawling maps or anything. You've got a handful of arenas that you're fighting in, and yeah, and all of the memory that this game takes up, the vast majority of it obviously went into the very beautiful graphics and characters in this game.
Yeah, okay, let's move on to the gameplay then, because the gameplay is obviously probably the main controversial talking point of this. Obviously, a lot of people were expecting. I don't really know what people were expecting actually, but I don't think they were expecting a wave shooter. I think that's the main thing. People were expecting something maybe with maybe like even like a Left 4 Dead style where you're going from point to point in co-op or something, but. What we ended up getting was kind of an arena sort of wave shooter, sort of, yeah, hack and slash. You basically you're in an arena. It's like Wes said, it's not a massive open world or anything. They're not small. I mean, they're a decent size, but you are effectively just in these set environments, and waves of enemies come at you, but the thing is, I mean, I think one thing what's worth mentioning is that we didn't play this on launch, and I know from launch people were saying that the matches went on for too long, the gameplay was just report boring and repetitive, and they have patched it a good 3 times, 4 times maybe, adding objectives, tweaking things. So did you play it on launch?
Yeah, I did. I bought it on launch, and I played it for maybe like 20-30 minutes and then refunded it because I just was not going to spend $40 on it. The matches were really long, at least the match that I played. You know, what's funny is the bad part is all those patches, they keep over tweaking everything. Like it was too long, and then now it's shorter. But before you could play by yourself with the computer people and actually succeed. Now they've made it to where there's no fucking way you're getting through the whole thing by yourself most of the time, and then nobody plays anymore. So you kind of looped into this loop of not being able to really complete it. So it's really bizarre. I mean, they need to figure out a good medium between all of it, because I enjoy playing it from the right character's perspective. That's my biggest thing as far as gameplay. It's really good if you pick the right character. I love playing Rocket, man. It is so fun, so satisfying. He's got 2 guns. I really rape everything. In retrospect, I tried Wolverine, and I'm like trying to run through them, and it was so weird. There was no collision, and for Melee, it was the worst thing I've ever experienced. And Alex, I know you said you have specific issues about the creators in another game, correct? Just because of that, or at least you have maybe fears.
I don't know, but we'll get onto the characters in a minute.
Okay.
I just want to touch on what you said before. I completely agree with what you're saying about the difficulty, because it's not easy. I mean, they have these objectives that you have to complete, which they're like phases. So you start off kind of having to defend a point, and then something will happen. So it changes from match to match. Sometimes you'll have to get these power cells and then put the power cells in this generator. But whilst that's happening, there's sometimes jammers which stop you from using them, which you've got all this. There's bosses that come in there, so it switches up and it changes up. And single player, out of all the matches I play, I think I managed to actually finish them again, complete again once, because the AI characters that you play with, all they do is kill guys, and the guys just non-stop coming. You can't kill, and the guys are just going to keep coming and coming and coming. So you've got to do the objectives, and you've got a certain amount of time, because obviously the enemies are trying to destroy the whatever the hell it is they're trying to destroy, and you just can't do it on your own because the AI aren't helping you do the objectives. They're just concentrating on killing the enemies. So, and like you said, you can't get a game. I didn't manage to get an occasional game, but you're playing with little kids, and all they want to do is kill things as well. So they're not playing for the objectives. So, yeah, it's. Yeah, I don't know. It's difficult to really know where the development's gone, because I haven't played it from the beginning. But as it is now, it's still not really right for a single player experience. At least it needs more tweaking. But I don't think they're going to do any more with it, to be honest with you.
No.
But Wes, did you feel that? Did you feel it was too hard, or did you find it okay?
No, I actually didn't think it was too hard. I felt it was all right. I probably won about half of the matches that I played in single player, and the other half I didn't. And those ones that I lost were more towards the beginning when I was learning how to play. But after I got comfortable in the game, I won fairly regularly. I didn't think it was hard at all.
Maybe it depends what character you play, but I know some characters. It's probably harder than others, but yeah, I don't know. From my experience, personally, I found it just you're basically all you end up doing is you just end up doing their objectives because no one else is doing it. So you're kind of you're trying to do the objectives, and everyone and the AI are kind of killing people, and occasionally you kill people along your way. So that's how it kind of felt. But
I have
it's designed for player. So.
I have played with the full group before. With when I bought it on sale, which it was the only time I've ever seen it on sale. It was the 1-day Oculus sale for $20, and I thought, man, I got to get this. And there was a lot of people in that for a couple days, and it was cool. It was really fun playing with 4 people, and everybody's doing their thing, and you've got different characters, and everybody's working together. And then when we played for this week for the show, I couldn't get anybody in there, not even kids. And I don't, like you said, it wouldn't have been any help anyway. But yeah, I mean, overall, I think the gameplay's fun. It's just very repetitive over time. So
Okay, so let's talk about some other characters then, because obviously let's talk about the good and the bad. We'll take it in turns just to pick one and talk about them. So where's that? Who did you not like? Let's start. In fact, yeah, let's start with that. Who was the one of the characters you thought was not so good?
Oh, well, the characters I didn't like, probably Captain America. I didn't really care for. That was just kind of. And let me start by saying that the differences in the characters aren't. I mean, the gameplay pretty much stays the same no matter who the character is. It's just your attacks are a little bit different, but the gameplay is just it doesn't change. You have to you're on a timer. You have to go fetch the batteries and put them in the device, or you're defending a device and trying to keep it from being destroyed. But as far as which character that I have the most difficulty with doing that, probably Captain America. He has his shield throw that's pretty effective, but his other moves, I didn't really, they weren't very effective in killing the enemy all that well. So.
Yeah, Captain America was one of the first I played with because you choose him on the prologue thing, and he sucks, to be honest with you. But
Yeah.
like you've got the shield, and obviously you're supposed to throw the shield, but you can't throw the shield because the way they've designed it is effectively like a gun. You just hold it out and then you just aim where you want it to go and let go of the button, and then press it again to retract it back. So you just basically just standing there with your arm out, just pointing at people and watching your shield bounce back and come back. It feels so shit, honestly. It made a really bad first impression for me. You want to throw it, and when you do that, it ends up going all over the place because it depends where you release and where you aim it at the time. So the next one that I tried, basically I started off with Captain America. The second one that I tried was Wolverine. I wanted to try Wolverine because he's cool. He's one of my favorite characters, and obviously you've got the retractable blades. And like Ruth said, having the hands and having the blades come in and out is so cool. But when I actually went into a game and used him, he's dog shit, to be honest with you. The problem is, like, you've got a ranged attack, which sometimes works, sometimes didn't. And then the other thing is obviously melee, where you're going up close. So you'd retract, you extend your blades, and then you'd like teleport up to someone. But then the blades would go in, so then you'd have to let go of the button, press the button again to open the blades again, and then by that time the enemies kicked you back, or something would happen where it kind of like push you back, so then you're out of range, so then you can't freaking swipe them anyway. And I just got so frustrated using him, and it was so disappointing because I wanted to kind of like be able to just, get up to someone and like stab them, and just you want to be able to like rip them to shreds, but you just can't do it. So and Roots, I know you tried Wolverine and didn't like him either. So
I pretty much didn't like any character that I couldn't fly, because my first character that I really tried was Rocket, and I spoiled myself. And so like with Wolverine, I'm on the ground, and you can like get up to ledges every once in a while, but I like that vantage point. And so but yeah, Wolverine was the absolute worst. And like I said, when I went, I would go in, and maybe that's what was happening, and I didn't realize. I would jump in and try, and it was like it was weird. It was like not doing it, or I don't know. I guess my hands maybe weren't out, because I did exactly that. I pulled my things out and jumped forward, and then I'm like, what is going on? But even I expected to be able to take my claws and clank them together, and I'm just expecting. I think I was my own worst enemy when it came to that. particular
No,
thing.
no, no. There is shit. No, don't. There's no. The fact that when you teleport next to someone, your claws end up going in. You should be able to teleport with your claws out, and just go straight in there. It's just not very well done, and that was what happened was because I played those two first. It gave a really bad impression for me, and bearing in mind these are the developers that are making Asgard's Wrath. I'm thinking to myself, if they can't get the melee right in this, and how are they going to do it in this big sprawling RPG, melee combat game? And it really concerned me. So let's start talking about some of the good ones then. You just mentioned Rocket Raccoon. He's one of the better ones, definitely. Yeah.
He's so good, and what I like about him is he's one of those characters, kind of like Hulk, and I like Hulk for the same reason. It gives you a sense of scale, because like the first time I was flying and I'm shooting, because I love shooting things with two guns, and I'm just going crazy, and you got your grenade, and then I thought, well, I'm gonna zoom up to him and shoot up close, and I zoomed up to his feet, and I was looking up at him, and I wasn't expecting that, and it was like I said, it was one of the first characters that I went and actually was trying, because I didn't want to do Captain America after the intro, and I was like, whoa, this scale is cool. So like, because up in the air everybody looks normal, so normal size. I just thought that was really cool, and he looks cool, and you got these cool he'll make little comments every once in a while, and so to me, I enjoyed him the most, and if I go back into it again, which I will from time to time, I'll probably play him the most.
Yeah, I tried him. I think probably third actually. So he was pretty much the third one I tried, and that's when I kind of switched back a bit because, you've got this. I actually jumped in a multiplayer game and I managed to get in one, and when the screen loaded, Deadpool was stood in front of me like crouched down, like looking at me, and he was freaking massive because I'm this like a tiny little raccoon. So that sense of scale really is good, and like so you look down and you've got your furry little body, and the graphics are really good on the actual character models. So when you're looking at your arms and everything, you look really cool. And then what you can do is you can teleport up into the air, and then you can like free locomote and fly around, and you've got like a big big shotgun type laser thing on you that you can use, or you've got two pistols, and yeah, Rocket Raccoon. Did you try him, Wes?
Yeah, I tried Rocket Raccoon, and I enjoyed it pretty well. I like the fact that you can float. It gives you an advantage when you're, like I said earlier, the point of the game is to find these power cells to bring back to the generator, and being able to float in the air not only allows you to find those cells easier, but it also allows you to deal with flying enemies easier. And on top of that ability, he has this awesome gun that if you hold the trigger and let it charge up, it shoots a ray out, and it's prolonged, for 5 or 10 seconds or whatever. A really devastating weapon. So yeah, it's a the raccoon as a character was very easy to play, and yeah, quite enjoyable.
Yeah, I agree. I was going to say, yeah, the Rocket Raccoon was one of the better ones. There is, like you said, with the flying, it is easier. I had most success with the flying characters, and it is worth saying that although there's a few different characters in there, they all kind of overlap a little bit in the powers. There's the slight differences, but you've got some that fly, some with guns, some with spells. But they're not all completely unique. They don't play completely differently. They do kind of overlap each other. So a lot of times you are playing more for the skin and being that character. Okay, so I'll highlight another one, which I think is Doctor Strange. I quite liked him. I don't know if you guys have tried Doctor Strange. I think the good thing about Doctor Strange is the way that they had the spell casting. It felt different to the other characters. Like you had to pull your hands together and then open them out, or you can pull things up and disable guys and stuff. And it just felt satisfying the way you throw in your spells and stuff. It felt more different to the other characters, like where you've obviously Rocket Raccoons, it's just guns, so you just blast by blast. Whereas this felt more animated, like you can get into the role more. And that's something that I did in this game. I role played a lot, like I'd get myself into that character, and especially if I was a multiplayer, I'd just kind of just try to be that character and just take the piss a lot. But yeah, what did you think, Roots, to Doctor Strange?
I really liked him too, and like you said, I mean, any of them that can fly, but he himself is. That's why I just hearing you talk about it, and then all the experiences I've played in this Marvel Powers United, it makes me think. Imagine if they had done a 4-person co-op campaign instead of this fucking arena shooter shit. You know, like they could have done it so good. And I mean, not that this isn't good, and I just feel like sometimes, you know, I know that they really influenced, they put a lot of pressure on the developers on what they wanted for the game. They wanted it to be easy. They wanted it to come out at launch, be something everybody could play. And I think they blew it. I think they should just let the developers do. I just think they could have made an amazing fucking game. And I really hope that the Iron Man game is going to be something that could be like this as far as graphics and feel, but actually be, you know, a really cool campaign. So.
Yeah, they got a lot right, and then they got a lot wrong. Like that's what concerns me a little bit with this developer, is because they haven't got the only other game that I've played that they've done is Sports Challenge VR, which is obviously not even anything close to what when you look at Asgard's Wrath, what they're making, it's just kind of have they got the skill to be able to pull something so big off and be able to make it so good and polished, and I don't know. I mean, we're gonna have to wait and see. But
maybe the things that they were limiting, that they were limited to do, maybe they're not going to be limited this time, and they'll be able to make the game that they wanted to make with this one. Because I know the developers, at least from what I had heard, that they were, you know, kind of, strong-armed in certain directions by Oculus to do it certain ways, and but I think they did an amazing game. But
Yeah. Yeah, I wouldn't be concerned too much, and I'll tell you why. So the last game we reviewed, Journey of the Gods, my basic conclusion with that game was that it was a great concept, but not very good execution. They could have done more. I think with this game, Marvel Powers United VR, it's just the opposite. I think that the concept of the game is not all that great. But I think they did a really good job with what they were trying to build here. Everything plays pretty good. Everything looks and sounds great. But the problem with it is what it actually is. It's an arcade style wave shooter that takes place in the Marvel. It supposedly takes place in the Marvel universe, but the action in it isn't very true to the comics. I don't feel it's like what you're doing here by fetching batteries and defending transmitters. This isn't the kind of stuff that happens in the movies and comics. And it's hard to express what I'm trying to say here.
It's been very gamified. I think it's not really. It doesn't fit in with the theme of the films. The films are like epic.
Well, right. Well, here's another example. This is a team-based gameplay, right? If I choose Wolverine, if this were a game that were really true to the spirit of the comics, then my team would just automatically be the X-Men. Why is Doctor Strange and Rocket Raccoon on my team? It doesn't make sense. And it doesn't make sense why every supervillain in the universe all of a sudden just banded together, and the only way that we can fight them is by deploying these shield generators. It's just kind of like they built the story so that they could try to make it the concept of the game to make sense, but it's a bad concept to begin with, so it kind of just bleeds out into the greater story. But again, as bad as the concept is, I feel the game is pretty good. That everything looks, sounds, and plays great. It's just not a very good concept for a game. So I feel that if the concept for gameplay in Asgard's Wrath is better than this, which I certainly would hope it is, I feel that the developers are certainly capable of realizing it.
Okay, yeah, I get your point, and we'll have to wait and see on that. it just tempered my expectations a little bit based on this game. But we've been running quite long now, so we can't. This is a game we could probably talk about for a long time, to be honest with you. I mean, we've not even barely scratched obviously some of the other superheroes. Like my personal favorite was the Hulk. I mean, being able to be the Hulk, have the scale of the Hulk, grabbing enemies, throwing them, smashing them, clapping your hands together, smashing the ground.
It is pretty cool.
It just, yeah, you felt powerful, and it was just one that you can really get into that role, and again, just the sense of scale, everything. The guys look tiny compared to you, and then there's Thor. I like Thor having the hammer and smacking them and sending them flying, and Deadpool with the Uzis and the swords. So there is some good characters and there's some good gameplay. There's some characters I've never even heard of, which I never even bothered trying. But yeah, overall, I think gameplay wise, it's a bit of a mixed bag. I think the overall game itself, like you said, Wes, is kind of a little bit of a bad game. No, well, yeah, it's a wave shooter, and no one really wants a wave shooter. So there's only so much you can do with that sort of genre before, even with the skins and everything, to make it interesting. So let's quickly touch on sound as well, because you've already mentioned that how good that is. And it is good. I mean, they've got some voice acting work in there, which I thought personally felt good. It felt like it fit the character that they were trying to portray. Obviously, the music's really cool, fits in with that Marvel sort of music. Wes, I'll pass it over to you. What did you think to the sound?
Yeah, I thought it was fine. It sounded like I was inside of a Marvel arcade game, to put it, bluntly. It was good. I didn't feel like I was in a Marvel movie or anything, but it was sufficient. The sounds were good. Everything was clear, and I mean, there was just there's so much going on that it's kind of hard to isolate the sounds. But I mean, it sounded it sounded how it should. The sound matched the gameplay.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, let's give some conclusions. I'll start with mine, and I'll basically just say that I can't personally recommend this game at full price. I don't think it's worth $40.
It shouldn't be $40 right now. It should be $20 all day.
Yeah. Yeah. And I want to stress that I did have fun in this game. I put 3 hours into it. I didn't put 3 hours into it begrudgingly. It started off bad, but after a while, I did start to feel like I was having fun. Being these characters, being these superheroes, it does make you feel like a superhero. You can be the Incredible Hulk, and you can throw guys around. You can be Spider-Man and literally grab guys and pull yourself around and things. It's not a bad game. It's just not what people wanted. I think that's the main problem. So I think if you're a Marvel fan and you want to check this out, keep an eye out, pick it up on a sale. If you've got kids who are gonna, really love this game, then maybe pick it up on a sale. But I just don't think it's worth that asking price because of the type of game that it is and what you're gonna get out of the game. So, Roots, I'll pass it to you. What are your final impressions of the game?
I agree 100%. As a matter of fact, I'm a case point. I returned it and bought it again when it was on sale. And it's the only time I've ever seen it on sale that one day for a day sale. So it's one of those things I would expect it's not going to be on sale a lot. So I would pick it up if you even consider it when you see it. But I really do believe that it's at a point now where if they drop the price permanently to $20, maybe we would get some multiplayer in there. It's the same premise of Pavlov. It's $10 and everybody gets it to play it. Imagine if it was $10. I mean, they probably already juiced as much as they're going to get out of it anyway. Let's get some people in there. It's never going to happen, but I don't know. But yeah, I mean, I would say that it's good enough for me owning it. I'll go back in and play it from time to time. But if I had friends that had it, like if I had a full group of 4 people that were playing, I would play it a lot. I think it would be really fun with different characters. But I don't think that's going to be happening anytime soon. So
yeah, what are your final thoughts?
Yeah, I agree that this game is obviously overpriced at this point. It's kind of hard not to recommend it though, because if you're a fan of the comics, this is the best we have right now as far as being able to choose from a large palette of your favorite superheroes and get a feel of what it's like to be in their shoes. So even though this is a terrible concept gameplay wise, which by the way, they kind of stick a thorn in your side to start off with, because the tutorial is something closer to what you would want the actual game to be. You're running down the city streets, enemies are ambushing you, you have a superhero might join the fight. If they would have taken the tutorial and made levels that work like that, I feel that this game would have been a lot better. But the concept is just a generic gameplay concept. But the team that worked on this is so talented. They did the best that they could with it. So while I wouldn't suggest anyone go out and drop 40 on this, if you can get it for $20 or $25 and you're a fan of the comics, absolutely. This game is fun in short spurts. I could play for an hour and have fun with it, but any longer than that, I'm going to get bored with it. So it's kind of it's very difficult to rate, but that's pretty much how I feel about it.
Let me ask you this, Wes. If you were able to play it with like your son and your wife, would it make it more fun for you? Like if all three?
I think that I would enjoy that for a little while, and then after a while, I would get tired of collecting batteries and defending towers.
Yeah.
And I would get bored with
Yeah.
it.
It's just
Go play something else with them.
You're only going to get kids. The reason why you only get kids coming up on the multiplayer is because they only get type of people that are going to happily just keep doing the same shit over and over again and not get bored with it. As an adult, there's only so many times you can do this stuff before you even with the superhero side of it before you're going to get bored. So
Yeah.
okay, let's finish that up. So it's a recommend on a sale. I think that what I'd say if you're a Marvel fan. If you have no interest in Marvel, then don't even bother. It's not worth your time.
Yeah.
So yeah, that'll finish off the review. It's been a bit of a long one, this, but there is a lot to talk about in this game. We could probably talk more about go into more depth about the different superheroes and stuff, but I think we've said enough. So we'll leave it there. If you like this review, hit like. If you didn't, hit dislike, no problem. Consider subscribing and hit notification. We do put out 3 reviews a week, plus topical Monday show, plus our weekly Sunday show, which is like a roundup news week. So we do bang a lot of content out there. If you're interested in VR games, finding out about the latest VR games, reviews, etc., then check us out. So that's it.
That's it. All right.
Thanks for watching.
Yep.
Thank you and good night.